And WECS Willimantic. How you doing? Welcome to Something Different with Marky Ramone. And live on the line, we have a special guest, Genevieve. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
How are you?
I'm really good. Thanks for asking.
No
How are
problem.
you?
I'm wonderful now that you called up. Do you mind when people compare you to other bands?
Do I mind? No. They can do that. I mean, I think it's just what people do.
I don't like to do it, but I often find myself doing it just to kind of help put things into perspective for people.
Right.
With your first CD, Ordinary Riches, you had a much more innocent voice, kind of like Bjork in the Sugar Cubes. And with your latest release on Running from a Gamble, I think it was much less polished and raw, unrelenting. Were there any changes in between the two releases that kind of led to that?
Thank you for noticing that. Yeah, the changes would be, 4 years of life. We recorded the first record in 2006 and released it independently in Chicago in 2007. So it was then picked up by Wind Up Records and re-released in the winter of '09. So by the time it had actually come out, I had written the songs about 3.5 years before, recorded them 3 years before, and had been playing them. So it was a sort of a crystallized moment in time that I had already grown from by the time that we started playing those songs in front of audiences. So 4 years went by, and lots of traveling, lots of, growing up and learning a lot about myself and the people in the world around me and, writing new songs. And so I think just naturally, blossoming into, this newest version of myself, it's just going to sound different than when I was little,
Yeah, that's kind of a natural maturation process, I guess.
Absolutely. I think it's just a little bit of a shocker sometimes to listeners because they don't realize that, our first record was actually a re-release,
I really love the raspy voice and the strain in your voice, and sometimes your vocals are kind of drawn out, and it builds a suspense in the music, leaving us hanging, waiting to see if you're either going to break out into tears or a fit of rage. Do you notice that? I mean, is that intended, or it's kind of naturally comes?
I notice it because I feel it inside, and I often am trying to just hold myself back from totally bursting. I think that's why I sing, because I don't want to burst into tears or burst into joy or burst into anger. It's sort of like, so instead you sing, and if only to really treasure the moment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's times on the record where I'm absolutely just beside myself while it was recording it. It was so therapeutic.
Very cool, very cool. And you recently had a chance to play some tunes at Daryl Hall's home. I really love Piece of My Heart you did with him. You really meshed. You really clicked together there, it seemed. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
It was so surreal. Mark and I got to go, to upstate New York, to Daryl Hall's house, and, he has a program called Live from Daryl's House that he, sort of has put on himself, and he invites you up there, and, you get out of the car, and you get strapped with a camera and a microphone, and everywhere you go, they're recording you, but he has his whole band, and they learn some of your songs, and you learn some of their songs, and you collaborate, and his family is at his house, and they cook, dinner for you, and you get to hang out, and
wow.
It was so, so comforting, and we just felt really welcomed, and really cool to be playing songs with, an artist that I was listening to as a little kid, sitting next to my dad on the way to, go to a garage sale or something as a kid. It was so cool.
Yeah, definitely. How did you get invited to do that?
I think somehow our record was submitted it might have been from our label or something, and they listen to people's albums and they pick who they want to be on the show. And I guess he was just really interested in playing with us, and he actually did take a lot of time to talk to us about our songwriting and our craft, and how much he appreciated it. And it was just really crazy to be in the room with him. And then you realize that he's a human being just like everybody else, and
that's
he's
cool.
Passionate. And,
he's a musical icon without a doubt. I mean, you can.
Yeah, I know. And we got a chance to open up for them in Chicago in June at the Ravinia, and I don't care what people say about him. He makes an entire stadium of people just dance, and it makes them happy.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Everybody has a good time.
Yeah.
I really love your version of "Don't Let Me Down" by the Beatles. Do you?
Oh, thank you.
Do you try to put your own twist on covers, or do you try to stay true to the original?
I know we always try to bring our twist or character to it. I guess just because it's fun to take someone's words and their melody and make it into something new, or to express it in your own personal way, because I think that's kind of the joy of sharing music that people can relate to is look, everybody can sing this song, and they can all, it can all mean something, or it can mean something to everyone, but everyone's going to, have their own way of portraying that, and I like to do that.
So you're on the road a lot. You get to travel around a lot. Is there a place that when you go to, you have to take a few hours out of the schedule and just go visit your favorite restaurant, get a favorite cheeseburger or a favorite ice cream cone somewhere?
Yes, Red Bamboo in New York City is a really big one for my band and I, because they have vegan and vegetarian meals that actually taste like real meat, and it's just so mind-blowing that every time we're still in shock, and it tastes so good. That's kind of a rarity, and I think each city probably has a place that we've grown really comfortable with over time.
I like to ask a lot of times about CMT's Crossroads, where they take a country band or artist and pair it up with somebody from rock and roll or pop and team them up together. But that was kind of what you did with Daryl Hall, I think.
Well, I mean, were you going to ask me if there would be anyone that I would love to collaborate with?
Yeah.
Because I would say Jillian Welch in a heartbeat.
Yes. She's very cool.
Yes.
That would be a good matchup.
That would be so fun.
I'll have my people call her people, and we'll make it happen. Thanks a lot, Genevieve. Stay on the line for me.
Okay.
All right. Genevieve from Company of Thieves here at WECS. You're listening to WECS Willimantic.